Now, I'm going to close by saying this. We're going to talk for a moment about obedience. Joy energizes obedience. It strengthens us that we might be obedient. It encourages us. Encourages us. It's amazing. You can take a guy, an athlete, and he's training super, super hard, and every day he's getting more down because he seems to be making less progress. He gets to the point where he doesn't think he's making any progress. He's not getting any faster. He's not getting any stronger. He just feels, and what is it? His joy is being robbed. And what happens? He just wants to give up. It's no use. Why go on? Why try? And then somebody just walks by and goes, man, I've been noticing you lately. Man, you're a lot faster off the line. Man, the other day when you flipped that guy, that was amazing. You're getting a lot stronger. You know, before your weakness was in your legs, but now, man, you're moving it. And what does he do? He hits the gym the next day, invigorated, doesn't he? Now, I'm going to teach you how this comes from knowing God's promises, but let me just stop here. I was at a place that had cable last year, 2 years ago, and turned on the TV, and there was Joel Osteen. And I listened to his sermon, and I was very convicted. Just let that sink in for a moment. I do believe that the things he was saying were out of context and wrong. Because when he talked about all the great things that God had in store for the people, they were more material. You know, houses and success and jobs and all this. Where I was greatly rebuked was this. He was greatly encouraging with all his heart. He really was. He was encouraging people in the things of God, all that God had for them. But he was wrong about what was important. Totally wrong. But I asked myself, how encouraging am I? How it is such a blessing to me when someone comes up to me and encourages me. I mean, says, man, you're doing well. Man, that was great. You're progressing. How it just jump starts me. And I have found out it jump starts everyone else. To be encouraged, to encourage people by pointing out, are you ready for this? The good in them. Yeah, that's biblical. God has worked good in His people. Paul was convinced of the goodness of the people he was writing to. God's done something wonderful in you. I can see good things in you. Look at the church in Corinth. They're having trouble with comprehending the resurrection. Some of them are denying physical resurrection. Every sort of other thing going on. But how does Paul start that letter in 1 Corinthians? Talking about all the good that he saw in them. All that the Lord had done in them. I just don't think, by and large, as the people of God, at least for myself, I don't do that enough. Wow. Brother, sister, that was amazing. I'm so proud of God's grace in you. So happy. Keep going. Press on. Go on. To our children. A lot of times the only time parents talk to their children is to tell them what they've done wrong. But to encourage them. Man, you're making progress. You're doing well. Keep going. You see. Listen to Hebrews 12:2 about joy energizing. Fixing our eyes on Jesus, the author and perfecter of our faith, who for the joy set before Him endured the cross. It motivated Him. It moved Him. Joy that would come after the darkness of that morning. The joy that would come. It invigorates. It energizes. Derek Kidder writes this based on his commentary, his Old Testament commentary. He writes that such a joy, when Nehemiah says the joy of the Lord is our strength, he says such a joy is invigorating, not escapist or evanescent. Now listen, Charles Simeon, who, if you can get a hold of his commentaries, please do. His expository outlines, they're absolutely wonderful. But he wrote extensively on this issue. And I want to read him so you realize I'm just not making something up. He said two things about joy. First, joy disposes for action. It makes us ready for action. Fear and sorrow depress and overwhelm the soul. Am I talking to anyone here? Fear and sorrow depress and overwhelm the soul. They enervate and benumb. They make numb all our faculties. They keep us from attending to any encouraging considerations. They disable us from extending relief to others. They indispose us for the most necessary duties. We cannot pray or speak or do anything with pleasure. But on the contrary, a joyous frame of mind exhilarates the soul. Now, you can be a pie-in-the-sky person that says everything's going horrible, stick a cherry in your cap or whatever and sunflower in your pocket or something and just keep walking. That's not what I'm talking about. It's stop looking at those things and see them in the light of who God is, what God has decreed, what God has done, what God will do for you. He says that such a joy exhilarates the soul. David well knew the effect it would produce, and everyone may safely adopt his resolution. And listen what he says in Psalms 119:32. I will run the way of thy commandments when thou shalt enlarge my heart. Has your heart ever been enlarged with joy? I can see this so clearly because I'm such a weak person. What you think is so important. I can walk into office and someone will say, man, they're killing you on the internet right now. They're attacking you. There's a guy that's just tearing you apart. And I go to my office, just, want to die. And then someone will walk in and go, yeah, Paul, they're really tearing you up. You and MacArthur and Piper and Sproul, I go, okay, it's not for something crazy I did. I'm okay now. Just a change of the news, how it changes my disposition and exhilarates me. When I hear the first news, I can't even work. I'm just sitting there numb. When I hear the second news, I'm ready to go again. You see? How much we are affected by what we think, what we believe.